Another circular dependency we need to remove is the dice service in the engine project. The service is currently used by another service, combat service, and some of the models. When we eventually move all the services into the new SOSCSRPG.Services project, the combat service will be able to see it, but the models won't. So we need to figure out a solution for that. One possible solution is dependency injection. We could create a dice service object and pass that into the other classes that need it. But I don't like that one. We're creating a bunch of extra objects for all the different items, and that just doesn't feel right to me. So one thing I mentioned earlier is that we may create an SOSCSRPG.Core class library project to hold very basic fundamental classes, almost like extensions to the C# language. And that's what we're going to do in this lesson. We're going to create that and move the dice service into there. Since to me, it's really kind of an extension on C#, just a better random number generator. And this new SOSCSRPG.Core project is probably going to be the home to some of the extension methods. So the first step is to open up the solution and add a new project to it. This will be a .NET 5 class library project, and it's SOSCSRPG.Core. Next thing we need to do is add the NuGet packages for it. Since this uses the D20 Tech NuGet packages for the dice rolling, we need to add d20tech.common.standard and d20tech.dicenotation.standard. Next, since this is going to be the home for all of our really common native data type functions, we need to add project references from the engine project to SOSCSRPG.Core and from SOSCSRPG.Services and .models. So they'll all have access to this. Eventually we may need to also add it for the view models project, but we'll see how that works out. Next step is to cut and paste the dice service and iDice service class and interface from the engine services folder into the new SOSCSRPG.Core project. After we do that, just like any moves that we're going to do during this refactoring, we need to go into the dice service class. We need to update the namespace to SOSCSRPG.Core from engine.services. And we'll do the same thing with the iDice service interface. Change its namespace to SOSCSRPG.Core. Now that the interface and class have a new namespace, we need to go into any class that uses it and make sure we have a using directive for SOSCSRPG.Core. And in this case, it's the attack with weapon class in engine actions. We'll add the using directive. In engine models, the location needs to have this using directive for the new core project, along with the monster class and the player attribute class, both of those in the models folder. And then we need to go into the engine services, the combat service, and add a using directive for SOSCSRPG.Core. These are all the classes, the 5 classes that use the random dice service right now. So now that we made the changes, we will build and clean, then rebuild the solution. I just like to be extra safe. And we will run the game to see if it still works. So we have some random values here for the character attributes. I'll roll a new player since that's something that uses the random dice service. And we are getting different values. That's good. Create the character. And we'll play the game. Let's go north and fight some snakes. So this is the combat service. We see it's the snake missed us, we missed the snake, we hit the snake. So it looks like the random attacks and the combat service are working. Let's make sure we get some loot here. Okay, so we're getting some one snake skin here. The dice service is one of the things that determines what loot you get. So here we didn't get any loot beyond the gold and experience points. Let's fight a few more times. Here we get a snake skin. So it looks like it's all working. That's going to be it for this lesson. I'm going to commit this to the GitHub repository. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below the video or on the support page, and I will get back to you as soon as possible.